Hey y'all, this is Evan Bailey from EDM 310, Dr. Strange's class here at the University of South Alabama. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how to use the smartboard. The first thing you want to do is you want to turn the smartboard on. To do that, you'll find the universal on button here at the bottom. And you'll just click that until it turns green. And then it may take a little while for it to warm up, but once it gets warmed up, we'll get underway. Okay, now that our smartboard has been turned on and it's all warmed up and everything, we want to calibrate the smartboard. So what we want to do is we want to come over here to my lower right hand corner to this little white disc at the bottom by the time, and I want to click on that. I want to go up to where it says Orient. I'll click on Orient, and then you get this screen here. It says press center of target and release. And there's various little targets across the screen, so I'm going to go up with my finger and very deliberately press each of these targets as close to the middle as I possibly can, so that when I am finished, my smartboard will be oriented, and now I can touch it. And where I touch is where it reads my touch, and so it'll work properly. If you don't do it properly, you'll run into some problems with it not reading your fingertip right where you're pushing it. So make sure you orient it correctly. Okay, now that I've got my smartboard all oriented to my particular touch, the next thing I want to do is open up my smartboard notebook. I'll come off to the side. This could be on the other side, the top, the bottom, but for this particular board, it's right here. There's a little blue notepad looking icon down here, and I'm going to click on that. Smart notebook comes up, gives me some options here. I actually could orient it from this spot if I wanted to. However, we've already oriented, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. The next thing I want to do is I'll show you a little bit how to work with text. So I can work with text in a few different ways. I can pick up one of the pens here, and as long as the light comes on where I picked up that pen, I can use it to actually draw, say, my name. I like the color green, so we'll use green. My name is Evan, so that's one way to use text. Also, if I want to erase, there's a neat little eraser at the bottom here. So long as the light comes on, I can erase that text using the eraser. Another way to use text would be to come up here to the toolbar at the top, and there's an ink pen, a marker, an eraser feature. So if I just want to use my finger to write something, I come up to the top, I can click on that, and it gives me options on color. For this particular purpose, we'll just go with the default. So say I want to use my finger. Now I've got the pen, and I can write my name with my finger. And once again, my name's Evan, so it works out pretty good. Also, I can use the eraser feature with my finger, where I can just kind of run my finger across the text. I can use the marker feature, which is kind of a bigger way of using text or writing. And say I want to write Evan in marker, like so. I can also work with the text by coming and clicking on my pointer, and I can start to highlight that text like so. Come over here to the drop box. I can do various things with it, cut, copy, paste, just like you could in any normal program, or word processing program, something like that. So got various features there. If I want to erase this without using the eraser, I can just use my pointer, use my finger, highlight the whole text, drop box, delete. Very simple. Okay, next we'll talk a little bit about how to work with objects. We have various shapes and such up here in the toolbox. So right now I'm on the pointer. I want to go from being on the pointer to shapes right here. As you can see, it drops down and tells you that's shapes. We got everything from circles, squares to pentagons, parallelograms, triangles, those kind of things. For this particular, we use a triangle. So I'll click on the triangle. I can take my finger, draw my triangle. I can go back and click on my pointer, highlight my triangle. I can put my finger in this little box here and I can drag it around like so. I can click on the triangle, come down to this little box and manipulate the size. So there's various things you can do with shapes. These are the few things that are really simple. Okay, so we just talked about how to use text and shapes, and now we want to kind of talk about how to combine those uses for things such as making a pop quiz or something with the smart board. So first thing I want to do is come up with a question for my quiz. I'll take the marker, make sure the light's on, and say I want my question to be, what color is the ocean? I could make more than one question, but for this particular purpose, we'll have this one question. My answer is obviously going to be blue, so I'm going to use a blue marker to write the answer. Now, I will do this before class, and then that way when the kids come in, they can have the question. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take an object, cover up the word blue, which is the answer, and then come back to where after they've already written their answers down, I can come back and I can click on blue and have blue appear. So this is how we do that. What we want to do is first of all, I may want the kids to not see my writing. I may want them to be able to. I don't write so well, so maybe I want to create have the computer recognize what I'm asking. So I can highlight all that. Come to my drop box on the side. Go recognize all, making it more legible, I guess, for the kids. Highlight blue, recognize blue. So now that I have that in a more recognizable format, I'll go up to objects, just shapes. We'll pick triangle for this one. I'll cover blue up as best I can. Now that I've got my answer for my question completely covered up by my shape, I want to add some fill to that so the students won't be able to see it. So I'll come to the corner of the shape and I'll click on it, and then I'll come over here to where I've got to my paint bucket, and I've got fill effects. So say I want to fill it in with say black, it'll fill in black, and then I want to animate it so that when I click on it, it'll fade to where the kids can see the answer. So we'll go to type and we'll go fade out. We'll go to it occurs when the object is clicked, so that tells me that when I click on the object, it'll fade out to where the students can see the answers, and I'm not going to repeat it. So once I get done with that, I'll just go back to my pointer. Here's the quiz. Kids walk in the classroom, they answer the quiz, we talk about it a little bit, they want to know what the answer is. Bam, there's the answer. Alright, now that we've talked about how to use text, how to use shapes and objects, and how to use those both combined together, we'll talk a little bit about how to use the cloner feature. So say I've got a word or a shape or something up here on the board that I want to make copies of and spread it around the board. I'll just come up here and for this purpose we use blue, which I already had there. We'll go to the drop down box. We'll go to Infinite Cloner, click on it, and now all I have to do is touch my finger to blue and it clones blue as many times as I want. I can also do the same thing with shapes Go and grab a shape, get a square, square, go back to my pointer, highlight the square, drop down, infinite cloner. I can clone that square. So that's just another wonderful tool for a smartboard that makes things a lot easier. Now that I've showed you a little bit about how to use the infinite cloner feature, we'll talk a little bit about digital ink. The usefulness of digital ink is that I can take one of these pens, I can go and say for this purpose I'll minimize the notebook. This is the desktop to my computer. Okay, say I want to go to a website. We'll call it for this particular case we'll use the University of South Alabama website. All right, and say a student has a question about what a URL is, or what is a website address. So I'll just pick up my Smart Pen, make sure I have this frame around the outside of my screen. That tells me the pen is working, and I can circle. This is the website address. This is where you type in your user ID and password. So various things like that we can use for with digital ink. Now if I want to save it, drop my pen back down, click on the ink I just drew up there, whatever I did, go to Save Ink, and it'll take an immediate snapshot of the website or whatever I was using, maybe my desktop, and it'll save it to the Smartboard Notebook program. So I can go back to my Smart Notebook, and there it is. And it's already got it inserted on a slide for me. And so I can go back to my old slide, there's my new slide, and I can use that for various teaching lessons and so on and so forth for teaching young people how to use the internet, which is something they need in the modern day. Okay, and finally what we want to talk about is how to use multimedia objects on your Smart Notebook. For this purpose, we'll come over here, we've got a new page, new notebook page, and we'll come to the picture on the upper right hand corner, click on that, we'll come down to interactive and multimedia, click on that. And Smartboard has various templates for you to use. In this particular case, we can use the acoustic guitar. We'll take that and drag it over into our Smart Notebook. And we can do the same thing with this as we did with the objects. You can move it around, twist it around, make it bigger. But one of the neat features of this is that it's got a little audio feature in the bottom. I can click on the audio feature, and it immediately gives feedback through your speakers about what an acoustic guitar sounds like. I can also do the same thing with, say I want a female voice saying, enunciating the letter A. It's got a feature on here. Alright, I can't see it, so I want to make it a little bigger. Make it a little bigger, and then the audio feature has a female voice saying the letter A.
Hey.
Just like that. So that's another feature that's wonderful about smartboards. And that's all we got for today. And thank you guys, and hope you learned a little something about smartboards today. I know I did. Thank you.